I've always felt like I was that vessel to be used to really touch my community and have an impact on other people. There was one line of duty event that happened several years back that was very traumatic and just rocked our department. We had a deputy that took his own life and took his wife's life also. And I can remember that phone call like it was yesterday. And, you know, the traumatic experience to me getting that phone call, it was a traumatic experience to everybody in the department. Talking to some of the guys in the department, I mean, there was questions of why, which that why is never answered in a suicide event. Talking to a lot of them, you know, there was an issue brought up. Was there something I missed? Was there something I could have done different? And even with me being that guy in the department that always reaching out to help others and talk to others, you know, my thoughts and my question was, why didn't he come to me? You know, why didn't he talk to me? You go through certain levels of emotions. You know, there was one point I felt angry. I felt sad. I felt angry that he did what he did and didn't come talk to me. And I'm sure a lot of people in our department had those range of emotions that happen. We're always in the business of helping people, and it's very frustrating when you can't help your own. And whenever you have a suicide, it triggers other experiences that you went through. Years back, I had a best friend that took his own life. So that phone call, I remember, opened up that wound also. And still today, when I go on suicide calls, it opens up those wounds of our coworker that took his own life and my best friend that took his own life. Days following the event, a lot of people in the department, and I'm sure his family also, felt powerless. It was just hard to wrap your head around why it happened, that why that we can never answer when an officer takes his own life. And it was just a absolute shock to our department. It rocked our department. In law enforcement, we are in the business to kind of take control of situations. And an incident like this, we are very powerless because we have no control. We cannot figure out why it happened, and it's become very frustrating to all of us. After the event, we knew something had to be done. There was intense emotions where we had to reach out to our union, reach out to our leadership, and get something in place to help these officers. Our leadership, they took swift action, joint efforts with the union, and we set up a SISM team. It's a peer support team, critical incident stress management team, where anytime officer goes through critical incidents, they can come talk to our team. I'm one of the members on the team, and it's been very effective, and it's been a positive impact with our department. We do defusions immediately after any critical incident that a deputy goes through. That's immediate. And we also do debriefings within 24 to 48 hours after an incident. And it is mandatory, and this helps officers to talk about the incident, to decompress, and as a team, we can lead them to further help if it's needed. There's that comfort level. They know we have their back and their best interest at heart. They feel more comfortable opening up to a coworker, somebody they work side by side with, rather than a stranger who may not know or directly understand the shoes we walk in every day. And we're trying to get past that stigma of feeling like the weakest link. And that's been an issue with officers in law enforcement. You don't want to feel like that weakest link. That's old school thinking. We're trying to get them to open up and talk about the traumas that they go through so they can deal with it and not lead to that rabbit hole we all know as alcoholism, divorce, suicide. In the last couple of years, our team's been mobilized for officer-involved shootings, barricaded gunmen. 2020 in particular, we've used the team more this year since we formed the team. So it's been a big need for the team. With transformation, I normally see officers that normally would sit there with their arms crossed and not open up. It's kind of like an onion with the layers being peeled back. They start to open up. They start to talk about their stress and their trauma. And once that happens, that's where the magic happens, where you can really start to make a change and get them the help needed if they need help. And when I say magic, it's just seeing that officer actually open up and talk about their feelings. Because as officers, we hide it. We keep it bottled up, and that's what we don't want. And this team has really made a difference seeing officers actually bring it out and talk about their traumatic experience, and so we can start the healing process. And the magic is when we can heal each other and heal ourselves. We really need to continue to look out, take care of ourselves, and look out for our coworkers. You know, we have eternal scars. You know, when you get a cut, or if you get injured, get a wound, we bring attention to that immediately. We need to do the same thing for these internal scars and wounds that we don't always see. So we need to be mindful of that and, you know, have that same mental first aid as we do when we have scars and wounds on the outside. So not only do we have to, you know, reach out to that officer, we have to make sure other officers in the department is okay as well. Being a part of the SISM team, whenever I get that phone call early in the morning or late at night, and I hear there's been an officer-involved shooting, that stress and trauma sticks with me with just that first line of whoever's calling on the other end, that we have an officer-involved shooting. Because you're wondering right then, is the officers okay? Is the officers alive? How are they doing? So that's something myself, I have to keep that trauma in check also when I get that phone call.